Sound check. Sound, excuse me, sound check. Sound check. Sound check. Sound check. There it is. I heard my echo. All right, let's get this show started. Welcome to TDD Academy. That's where we are at. My name is Lancer Kind. And as soon as I figure out how to get my cameras back on the right track, there we are. There's David. David? I'm Lancer Kind, and that's solopreneur David Coons, who's been showing up, calling in on the show with his drink. That's how it is, folks, when your live streaming buddy goes on vacation. Someday I'm going to unmask you, David, so you have to look at us. Look at us and tell us why. How great is the vacation? Let's see if you're getting any tan underneath that helmet. Okay, so anyways, what's going on in life? Quick recap on some of the other activities I'm involved with. Sci-Fi Thoughts. It is, I believe, next week we'll be running a show on Blaze Sky. We're doing a recap from the creator of Blaze Sky. The fellow's name is Will Iverson. And he has a studio and he does a game that's on the Steam store. And he's going to tell us how it went. Because we did a show about this I feel like it's about a year ago, but maybe it's more, about how he launched his game and how did it go. So that will be showing up on Sci-Fi Thoughts. Agile Thoughts, I didn't look at the queue before we dialed in. Hey, let's look at the queue. I'm going to switch to my keyboard or my laptop. Right before we get into this, let's see what is going on in Agile Thoughts. Go to agilenoir.biz, Agile Thoughts podcast. We finished Jim Benson, and next and we did Candid Coders already too. Oh, we're gonna hear from Troy McGinnis and special guest Peter Minyowski, and the topic is metrics for your organization. All right, and Sci-Fi Thoughts is on sci-fi-thoughts.space. Agile Thoughts is, just Google it, it'll be easier. Lancer Agile Thoughts. Don't have a slick URL. Also found at agilenoir.biz. All right. I think that rounds about all of that up. So, what do you think, David? Should we get into the code? David wants to know what I've been up to on the code. Well, last week, I was working on the side, off camera a little bit, happens. And I was working on colors so that we can make the mask, look like a mask rather than look like black X's. Today, we're going to keep adding. We're going to forget about the color, and we're just going to get the cursor positioning and all that other stuff working. That's my story, folks. I'm going to stick to it. And I have a red. I don't know why this shows up red. Does that mean it's bad? That means I have a problem. Maybe it means it's not checked in because I don't see any issues here. Okay, so anyways, so we got a couple of tests that I just disabled because I want to get on back with what we were working on last week. Let's run all the tests. That's why we do TDD, test-driven development. We write automation to prove that our code is working. And we talk a lot about on this show about parts that we're not proving is working, such as does the UI paint right? Because there is no good way that I know of to get an automated test that tells you if your UI looks beautiful. Requires using these things. But we only want to do that once or twice. We don't want to have to deal with that all the time. Uh-oh, look at that, saying my test events were not received. So those of you who are using Arctic Fox build, good things about Arctic Fox build, fast unit test execution, because oh my God, Android Studio, I'm afraid, kind of sucks at it until this release. Problem is, not good integration with the IDE, and you get test events not received. As I perpetuate, so this information I put on Stack Overflow, it's just telling you, man, you have a compilation error. So if I scroll in here, I'll figure it out. And the compilation error is where? Well, that part's a little harder. This part's quite annoying. App compile debug Kotlin. So yeah, it doesn't. The integration isn't very good. But I'm assuming these red, these things that show up red here are showing up red for a reason. Redundant empty class body cleanup code. Well, that won't cause any compile error, so that should be okay. What about here? I don't see any red X stuff here, so that should be okay too. All right, we go to our problems. These are warnings. Should be okay. Not big problems. Well, I'm going to go run the compile step. Here we are. Now we get real problems. So I'm on build tab because I had to run the compile step because running the test itself doesn't give you this help, which is not. Oh, wow. I was involved with something here. Computing mask? What have I done? SSN text watcher, compute mask, private function. If character is greater than 1. Oh, we have a print color thing here. Okay, so we were doing some experimentation on color. We don't need that in there anymore, so I'm going to delete that. That's easy. We're going to be working on this code, though. This code's not good code. And we'll talk about that more when we write tests, as we write our tests. Because we are busy bees here. We write code, but we don't just write code. We write test code first, and then we write our other code. All right, so interesting thing, it's still the same error. The busy bee is getting aggravated. So if we go to build and run the build, again, I'm looking for red. I don't see any red there. Make project. Okay, so we were doing some interface changes, probably to support the color off camera. So I'm gonna have to like tidy up the code a little bit. Oh, our sponsor for the day. No, not really. It's the beer that's making me happy today. I'm drinking a beer I got in my local Woodlands supermarket. All right, so what do we got here? We have to implement some things. So I've been adding into this interface SSN field access, and now has get color, get spannable, stuff that we need. Get spannable? Never used. Well, maybe we won't use it. We will get it all synced up, folks. Don't worry. Let's get it all synced up quickly, though, because I want to get my code written. Class field. And let's see what it wants to implement. Come here. Where's my fix? Implement members. Okay. Get Spannable, get color, color. I'm going to go ahead and let it implement both of those. I'm catching up to some work I did off camera. I didn't finish it. I'm going to leave the to-dos in there unless the test forces me to fix that. Okay. Why is this override upset? Because it probably used to be in my interface and it changed. Get color of text edit. Didn't take a position in the past. Oh yeah, that was back when we were learning things about how to get the color back. All right, let's see, am I fixed now? Let's try it. You know, you never, as a developer, you never want to come into work and see your code not working. It happens here on the show because, well, it's my local environment. I didn't pull in a fresh copy. If I pulled in a fresh copy, it wouldn't be the up-to-date copy. But yeah, this is my local environment. And yeah. Okay, so parameter I is never used. Those are little warnings. That's okay for now. Why would I ever have a thing called parameter I? That's a horrible name. I don't know why. Okay. Get color, test drive the interface below. And that's going to be in something called Spannable string helper test. Field action. Okay. Got a lot of work in progress here. This is why a little more complicated than I like to start the show with. But let's run the unit tests and get cracking. Test answer not received yet. Oh my goodness, we still have a build failure. Now, who's cranky? Make project. Making, finished. Hit the build tab. Build passed. What's going on here, kids? Why are my tests not running? The build is finished. Let's put that up there. I pick run all tests. Maybe it's contextual. I got this blue line now on app. Still says not. Oh, we're going to start the show with a mystery. Compilation failure. Now that is funny. Why would I get a compilation failure? Redundant class body. I wonder what that means. Why is it redundant? Doesn't look redundant to me. Very confused. I'm going to mark this one ignore, but it doesn't matter because I'm not even compiling right now. And why? What I'm confused by is when I run my test, it tells me it fails, but when I run the build, make module, it works. That is weird. I'm not why that would happen. Gradle finish building. It just builds like a champ. Get this little thing out of the way. You're building like a champ, Gradle. What is going on here, kids? Run all tests. All right, so if I go to the test I want to run, like this one, because I want to write some tests. I am not supposed to be here fighting with this thing for 30 minutes. Supposed to be. Keyword point. Oops, there's the class. All right, if I hit green on this, will this execute this test? It will not. How funny. Oh, there's some red marks. Now we're cooking. All right. So that's so weird. Okay, I see what the problem is. So when I run make in that other context, it just builds that product. It doesn't build my tests. So if I really want to discover, next time my build fails, I need to make not just the project, but I got to select a build variant, and I don't see test in here. What's going on here, kids? How is that working? All right, so there's a bit of a wiggle room. I'm not actually building my test. Edit build type. I won't spend too much time on trying to get that to work because I think I don't want to. Let's see, we have a release type. Fetching. Will you fetch? I should have a unit test type or something in here because it's running my unit tests. Oh my God, why is that such a pain? So if I go to my edit configuration, all right, app clean, test debug unit test. So the tasks for Gradle are app, clean test debug unit test. Okay, so that's the difference, but why is it in here twice? I don't really use Gradle. I'm a little bit scared to change anything, but we're gonna change something. Well, I have a broken system right now, so let me not break it further. I'll come back to this, because why is this doing it twice? It looks to me like I'm running my the same task twice, so we're gonna come back and look into that, and probably, maybe it'll double my speed. That would be silly to be, maybe Gradle's smart enough to ignore it when it's in there twice. Anyways, SSN field mock has now more things to implement because we are adding to the interface. So that makes sense it wasn't building. Perfectly reasonable. And all this took longer than it had to because of the integration with the unit testing changed and they didn't finish the job in mind. All right, implement those members. Same two members. Alrighty then. Look, I got a nice little red squiggle here. Now we got some more red stuff. What's going on here? Oh, we have some to-dos. Oh, and this one. Yeah, this one's all gone. That probably means there's an old call that's going to be upset about that when I delete that. All right, I saved it. What else is red? Nope, nothing else is red. All right, let's try run the test and see if it can discover, there, it passed. The test ran, I mean. Okay, we have a test failure now. Because, okay. So again, I'm not going to solve the color problem today. That was, I don't know, did I solve that last week? Or did this happen off camera? I'm a little unclear on that one. Oh, well, folks, I can make this test pass. Maybe I should do that. I'm making a face because there's actually a lot to get involved with that. I'm remembering what I was doing. So let me leave that alone. I'm going to stop myself there, and I'm going to focus on, let's just get the typing. The key point is we want to focus on one thing at a time, and we're going to keep the typing part. Can it type the mask in as I fill in the letters and keep the cursor right? So we're going to focus on that aspect, and then we'll come back and do color. I'm sure I won't do both today. You know how the show goes. Well, try to only keep it to an hour. It all usually runs 90 minutes. Some days 2 hours. It's Friday. Blah, blah, blah. So let's get something done, though. And now let's see if the test passes. Ignoring the color thing. Cool. All right. The other mystery. Let's look into this build for a little bit. So if I go into edit this configuration, test, oh, clean. There's a difference. So it's doing a clean, and then it's running it to run the full schlemiel. Now, I don't know if skipping the clean is a good idea, so I'm going to leave that alone. That looks correct. I didn't know it was clean there before. App clean, app test. Okay, so I think that's all right. Now, I'm copying this because I want to learn how to fix my build. So when I build and my test don't run, I can have a better experience. Oh, it's something like, I'm not going to spend too much time on this on the show because I don't want to make it about my build. Edit build types, edit build flavors. So it's going to be something in here. Release and debug. We should have another one like test. Okay. All right. By the way, if you're trying to get a hold of me and want to interact, you can catch up with me on LinkedIn. I'm going to send hi out to the LinkedIn folks. Hi. Enter. Share in post. Send in a private message. How about that? We'll send in a private message. I don't know really what that will do. Whoa, that's totally annoying. That's like what I want to do. Oh, LinkedIn, you got a confusing setup here. So I'm saying hi. Hit that arrow button. I guess I'm going to share in a post. No, I just want to send it in this chat. Is this not a chat, folks? Tap to show chat. So I tap to show chat. I'm on LinkedIn. That's what I'm talking about. I'm talking to those who might be using LinkedIn to watch the show. I send hi. And now I'm on the iPad experience here. And I can keep, this is very strange, hi there. I can type out a message, press return, and it will be a multi-line message. There is a send button. I can give myself a thumbs up. That's easy. All right, sweet. That worked easy. Now if I say share, it asks me a bunch of questions, right? Share in a post or send in a private message. It's like I'm in a experience with the live stream. I want to send a message to the live stream. It's confusing to me. I don't know what that means when I look at this. So I'm going to pick share in a post and see what happens. And see if some crazy thing. What do you want to talk about? Blah, 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 blah. All right, shows the live stream. All right, I'm going to post that. Very weird. So I've posted to my LinkedIn. I don't understand. I expect it to show up maybe in a bubble on the live stream so that multiple people can like say hi or whatever. Ooh, there's another post button over here. Is that the trick? All right, get back in the text field. There's a post button on the far right. Is that it? That's it. All right, there we are. We just had a usability. I'm sorry you couldn't see it on camera. You type. This is on the iPad experience. You type in a message. There's this big arrow that looks like it's your send arrow. That's not the right arrow. You have to go keep looking further, far to the right, and stealth into the button is transparent on top of the backdrop, or it's outlined on top of the backdrop, and it says post. So if you're on the iPad and you want to post back to me, that's the story. Hopefully that was helpful. All right, so distractions. So let's see, what do we got here? A bunch of stuff I don't want to learn about right now, to be honest. I have build types and build flavors. I'm going to have to learn more about this build tool, which I don't use. But I feel like I'm going to be able to be successful with that. You know, but honestly, Firefox, Android Studio, you should have this built in. I mean, are you expecting people not to ever write unit tests? And that, oh, sometimes they will write unit tests? It's like, come on, folks. They're going to need that. You're not helping things. These tools are for developers. Developers automate unit tests. Developers who like to spend time debugging, i.e. debuggers, they don't do the unit test part. And we need to like raise the bar. All right, the other way you can interact with me on is Twitter. So I'm gonna change my, come on. Oh, that's right, it's a funny way to do this. Yeah, another usability game here is if you use Tweetbot, it's a little hard to change to your other account. meaning you can't just click on it. You have to go in there and do that. All right, here we are. Showing last week's episode cover. Yeah, so if you hit me up a message there, that may help. Okay. Now, back to code. We have a test. It passes. Now we should check out the application because we know we need to run the application. Unfortunately, we have to do some manual testing as we go because we are working we're working next door to the UI layer. Some people would say we're working in the UI layer. I'm not literally talking to the UI. The tests I'm running do not cause rendering to happen. Wow, this looks like a different Google phone. This is not the Pixel, is it? It's coming up. I'm curious. Pixel. That is the Pixel. I'll be darned. Come on, Pixel. Get me there. Probably shut down our notifications. Need to get a way to get OBS or Apple to let us set what apps should turn on Do Not Disturb, so I can get OBS to do that. First fragment. Look at that fancy colored text. Oh, wow, what is wrong with my trackpad? Why are you killing me here? It's just a little flashy. Okay, so what you're seeing here is it's running my some test, and I don't want to do that. I want it to run the actual phone activity. So let's go back to main activity. Learn to move cursor, learn to set colors, turn those babies off. This is code I will not be checking in when I'm done. I will check in code, but this is not code I want to ship to production. Okay. And on start, set mask. All right, let's run it again. Let's try this. Apply changes and restart activity. All right. Should see the usual social security number input. Come on, baby. That does not look like it did what I wanted to do. Yeah. All right, we gotta. I haven't used this apply change and restart activity a lot. There's probably cases when you shouldn't bother because it won't work. It won't get you what you need. And quite frankly, relaunching the whole thing operates really fast anyhow. Where'd it go though? There it is. There we are. Okay, cool. So what I'm establishing right now is what the heck it does right now. Okay? So, one. Nice. We see the mask. The cursor's in the right position. We're going to do it one more time. One. Oh, see the mask. Cursor not in the right position. That's what we're fixing. Okay, so when we type in two characters, we want to see a mask that's shorter and the cursor in the right position, which is failing right now. So we're going to test drive that. And if we focus on that, get that fixed, then we can start worrying about color. And let's get back in IDE. All right, so we are talking about test driving, right? So we're going to get back into our test. SSN text watcher. So user enters in 2 digits. Now the curious thing is this test is saying it passed, and it says watcher get selection and what is this? Expected to. And the search the mask is this in the text box. And I don't think this is right. All right, so a certain mask is correct says it takes the expected mask and it takes the text box and it checks to see if they are the same. I don't think this term expected mask is the right thing, because this is not the expected mask is this part. This is other parts the user input, so this is incorrect. So this isn't, there's already where our code isn't quite doing what it says it's doing, so either you got to change this or change the code. Because expected mask should be like this, okay? Not expected text box display, might be that, okay? And then this one, expected to get selection, and I do not recall what that's for. All right, so one thing at a time. Let's go ahead and fix something here. Got to remember how to do Android Studio. Okay, expected text in text box. Okay. Now that makes sense. Now expected here says I expect to see a 2. Oh, that's where the selection point is. Okay, get selection end is confusing to me, but it's talking about where the cursor is. So maybe we ought to make that a little more clear. Okay. So what we're doing is we're reflecting we're saying, using the same words of the domain of Kotlin of the thing that we're accessing beneath it. And I'm complaining to myself, or just you're hearing me get confused, like get selection end, what does that mean? I don't know why. Okay, so what I would like it to say is, I would like it to call it is get cursor position. And I'm trying to decide whether I should really rename it or not like that, because this will say get cursor position, but then my design underneath, it's going to have to, probably ought to adjust too, because does it make sense to have get cursor position then call this other thing with a different name? I don't know, let's keep going. Get selection of text edit, and then in my this is in field. Okay. End of text edit. Get selection of text edit. Get selection end of text edit. Yeah. So here you can see the naming convention is to say we're kind of just echoing what's happening underneath rather than having high-level policy and then putting all the details inside. May not be a great idea to reflect what's happening beneath, because we're not what's called inverting our dependencies. We're not, the language we're using at the interface level is the same language we're using within the interface level, which means we're missing an opportunity to create abstraction. On the other hand, I think I want it to be reflected, because then I can visually inspect when I care about what's in how it's implemented. Okay, I don't know for sure I want to change it yet, but I'll keep arguing with that as we go. These probably should be private. Okay. All right, so now back to this test that's passing. That seems like it should not be. That's the most alarming thing I'm seeing here. This is saying that 2 should be Let me rename this for a moment. Something like that. What is it talking about? Yes. All right, so what did I do here? I just made an alias. It's kind of curious. Let's try to address this before we check in the code today. But I'm trying out this idea that it should say position of insertion point, and I expect it to be 2. And that would be 0, 1, 0. So if the insertion is here, that would be in position. All right, that's position 0, position 1, position 2. All right, that's what we expect, right? We expect that's where the insertion point would be. This language about get selection in is cruddy language, and I should stick to my guns and make our design understandable, not just reflect things that are not understandable. Otherwise, we create more design beneath that's already confusing. I can't change the design of the Android language, but I can have better language for the work that I'm doing. And okay, yeah. So I think I'm forming a pretty good opinion on that one. So we'll probably come back to that and refactor all the code in the interface to use this language. Position of insertion point, because that's much clearer for what I'm trying to do. All right, position 0, 1, 2. Okay, boom. And I expect it to be 2. And when I run the phone, let's run it again, I did not see that behavior. So I'm worried about why is that happening? Why is my test not reflecting that it's not working in the phone? And there's a lot of reasons why that's possible. All right. 1, 2. Oh, well, okay. Here's one reason: is it is actually in the right position. The mask is what's screwed up. Ah, okay. You see, it is in position 2. 0, 1, 2, position 2, right? It's interesting how that works. And if I type in a 3, it'll definitely, it keeps going. Okay, interesting. I can't delete. All right, supporting delete is probably another story where I have to work on. Excuse me. Okay. So what didn't work is this assert mask correct in text box. Oh, that's funny. Text box is here. Append 1, 2. Watcher takes the text box, and it's going to apply the logic. Count of characters added, 1, 2. It probably ought to be entered in 1 by 1. All right, cursor position 0. 1 character added. Cursor position 1. 2nd character added. Okay. I might be overdoing it, but I think that's probably more accurate what I'm trying to do here. Because the bug isn't happening in my unit test, and my unit test isn't the same as the phone, and so if I deviate too much from it, it will have a different experience. All right, so it does before text change, and after. I feel like this has got to be called every time too. It's got to be called twice. Because when the phone operates, if I type in something in the text box, before it'll be called, after it will be called, and heck, you know what else will be called? Before, what's the one in the middle? There's before, after, but before, on text change will be called too. But I might not have to, I may not have to do all these things. Is after just like that? After just takes an editable. Oh, that's all good. I mean, that's all. So I think on text change is empty still, so we don't need that. Text watcher. Before, after, and on is just doing some output. All right. Backing up to my test. All right, 1, da-da-da, 2. I mean, I could put it in there. But I just have to add more stupid parameters if I... See, the problem is, I thought, oh, I could just put it in there for the future if I add more code to on text change. But there's a lot of parameters to make it happy, and I don't think I want to maintain all that. It's going to increase the cognitive load of my brain having to look at that all the time. And unless I need to do it, let's not invest. Keep my brain relaxed for other problems. Okay. So this probably more accurately represents what's supposed to happen. This is the act. You can see my act is now not really like that. This is the... You know, the act is... I'm going to have to say this. Act is all of this. Okay? Because we're dealing with a lot of orchestration to get this code to behave the way it behaves when it's run by the phone. Yikes. And maybe there's a way to reduce that. Like just skip to the last 2 steps, which I think is what this code was trying to do, is doing 1, 2, and then it was bloom, but something's not working right. So let's just try this. Could undo it if it didn't work. Oh, why am I in this? I'm going to run the test. Confusing myself. So the goal is to get this test to behave similar to what it does in the phone. Exactly the same as what it does in the phone. Yeah, now it's clearly operating really differently now. Now this doesn't actually match what's going on the phone either. Oh, you wicked little thing. All right. Oh, no. Notice 1, 2. All right, let's look at 1 digit. We have to go back to the basics here. Where's my 1 digit? And user enters a single digit. Okay. There. User entered in this. Before text change, after text changed. That's where we're test driving. That's why the act is on that. Check that the Boolean state is correct. Check that the mask is correct. Check that the position of insertion point is correct. Okay, that actually looks pretty good. Now when we get to this other test, after text changed, user enters 2 digits. So I'm either doing them one at a time with a new position, which this seems fair. Let's do this. Let's add another thing in here. We're gonna blow up this AAA assert act stuff. We're gonna put stuff all over in here. Maybe this will help us. That's why I'm doing it. All right, so after I do those 2 things, this should be the same as the one above. We should get one XXX text box. Okay, and then we add in the 2 before, after, position 1, and another one's added. See, the concern I have with this code right here, I'm not confident that it's a pending. When I call append, I'm worried it's appending it to the end of this. See? I don't think it's working right. So I think the code could be working right, but I don't think my test is behaving. I'm not building this the right way. So how I'm going to find that out is by writing another assert. First of all, I want to assert that my text box is right. Assert equals that my text box has 1, 2. No, because my phone has to handle the input. And I know it set the cursor position. So when I append that, I should be getting the double X because I haven't deleted the extra X yet. Because my code is supposed to do that for me. It's going to delete that extra X. Okay? So I believe this part of the test will fail. But that's what it does in the phone. And when I type the 2, it will enter the 2 where the insertion point is. Because remember, there's an insertion point in the right spot. Insertion point should be at position 1. Not text box. How do I get the insertion point? I asked the text edit, I think. What's it called? SSN. What's it called? Let's go back to this one. Position of insertion point. Where's it getting this? Oh, that's right. I made that function. Okay. Okay. Yeah, all that stuff. So this will happen before the text edit is invoked because I have an extra X in here. See, that X needs to go away. All right, let's try this. We're learning how to test this code. Failed, like we expected. All right, which line failed? So I double click this. Okay, so it says this line failed. Like I was suspicious. See how what is going on here? How I'm using the append is not going to work because my code won't actually work that way. When I type it in on the phone, it won't. This is not properly simulating my phone input. I feel like I'm going to have to make some functions that handle typing in on the phone because it's easy to do this incorrectly. Let's do it. We need to make this easier to write tests and simulate the writing of tests. So if I go to refactor, function, I don't know what these silly things are. It's really frustrating that this isn't quite, man, what did move? Top level and nested classes. All right. Let's call it a function. What's function to scope mean? Oh, okay. I don't know. I should get somebody from Android Studio on this show. Let's talk about these refactoring browser. All right, this looks good. Hey, I got extract function. That's weird it didn't do that for me the other time I did this. It just made it a function alias. Or maybe it'll do the same thing again. All right, extract function. So this is a user entry. User enters on phone. User types to phone. Did you type to your phone? User types phone, on phone. There we go. So it's going to refactor all my code, get it all straightened out. Okay. Now, I actually want it to take a string. Trailing comma by default. All right. So these are types on phone. It doesn't say what I typed in the phone. Okay. I want to refactor this to take an argument. Add argument. Introduce parameter. No, not to these things. Yeah, it's totally not helpful. Okay, string. Entry. What's it? User enters on phone. String. I want to call it string. That's a developer domain. In our case, it's supposed to be social security number. So it could be anything though. String. Text. It's text. It's going to be a character at a time, though. Is that what's going to happen here? Probably. I might come back and change this type to character. Let me write a note. Character instead of string. Okay. Gotta get rid of this stuff. Don't need that comment anymore because I've finally gotten to refactoring this nasty bit of code so it looks better. The kitchen was getting dirty. Okay, all right. Now, run it. It still won't pass the test. I gotta add in more functionality. So now the trick is, it needs to know where the cursor is so it does the right thing as if I'm typing in on the phone. So when I do this next step, it's going to put it in the right spot. And the right spot should be where the insertion point is, right? But we know that's not working that way because it doesn't understand that we have masking going on. Oh, gosh, dang it. So, do I pass in the position here? And then, or do I let the code figure that out, assuming the masking is working? I think I'm going to make the code figure that out. So whenever it gets a string, it needs to judge where that thing goes. And it should be like all right, when it types in the 2, it's supposed to put it after the number. And it's not supposed to put it in the wrong spot. So text box dot, can it tell me where the mask starts? That's what I need. I need to get this API to tell me where the mask starts. Interesting, I'm driving code in here to help me. We're gonna go with it though. So where is the mask start so that I can insert ahead of where the mask starts, right? Text box dot get mask. Let's see, what is text box type? It's a text box is a spannable string builder. Okay, now that's not going to help me. In my before, is it this? My field mocked? Yeah, security field mock. Get selection end of text edit. Get selection. I don't care about the end of text edit. I want to tell me where the mask is. And if I try to build this logic in there, it's going to get hard. I'm not sure I should, because that's going to make my mocking class hard. All right, so for now, I'm going to pass that in. My unit test is going to inform that code how to behave. Because if I build all that into that code, which is test code, I'm adding more complexity. I think I just need to like use my brain and tell it should go in position 2. I'm typing in a 3, put it in position 3. Okay, let's do that. User types on phone, nothing. It's going to put it in the first position. It's going to put it in the first position now. What and flags. Start and end character sequence. I think this is the one I want. Starting at insertion point. First the text. User. Okay. Let's try it. And those assertions should help me learn if it's working the right way. What's wrong here? Test result. Single digit now failed. All of a sudden, single digit failed. Oh. Because my Spannable, that's a new API, my Spannable string builder, and I have to add it now. Where are you, Spannable? Ah, here we are. My. See this? We only have append. Takes a character. Okay. There. Hard code, huh? Had to add another. We've gotten pretty far with this my Spannable string builder, and we have to add a new. We're starting to use some different APIs, so we had to add to it. Test events were not received. You know what that means? Compile failure. And I did not find a great way to uncover those. It's so annoying. Okay, and it's not in here, so I got to do a build. But I know it's not going to build the tests. Oh, maybe in problems it shows up though. App, compile, debug unit test Kotlin. That's the build. Oh, it's supposed to return the Spannable string builder. See what it says? Return of append is not a subtype of return type, blah, blah, blah. Hey, it's telling me, whoa, you didn't quite override me right. There we are. And then we got to put a return, let run. This, my object, myself. Return myself after I append it. Okay. All right, so other tests have passed. This one still did not. Start one, end one, length. It's 1. Okay, what line did this fail on? So if we double tap, if you see what line it failed on, it says 2. Okay, this passed this. User types on phone 2, insertion point 1. And we get a lot out of index error on user types on phone, line 13061. Is it because, all right, so if I type in a string has now, I don't know how that works. All right, let's try the loading test here. Okay, and then we do text box, append, to position 0, and oops, position 1 to 2. Now that's probably going to cause the same problem because I can see why it would say that. The string is only, when you look above, you see there's a position 0, yeah, element. And I'm saying we're starting at position 1, and we're adding 1 character, and we're excluding the last position. But I thought that I understood how that works, and I thought that's how it's done. So let's run it, see though. Same problem. All right, cool. So what if I do that? Okay. Starts at 1, ends at 1. Wow, that's interesting. I don't think that'll work, but let's see what happens. Failed at this step. That's weird. Oh, do I have to do 2-string? Okay. 0, 1. Seriously? Oh, I just don't like this API that much. It doesn't seem to, just doesn't seem to agree with me. Expected 1, 2, but was 1, nothing. Expected 1, 2 actually was 1. All right, now if I change this to a 2, that's not going to work because we've already played this game. Remember there's an earlier episode we played this game too. It's just odd. I don't... So it's appending. So what does start mean? I'm going to start appending at position 0 because that's position 0. I'm going to append to position 0. Like, what would this be? Will that work? It's like I didn't quite learn my lesson. This API still is bothering me. So starting at position 0, which text box is empty right now. Like, nothing. You're an evil and vile little API. That's what I have to say to you. Evil and vile APIs, they happen here, folks. All right, so if there's nothing there, we can add something to the 0th position, and it's happy. When there's something there, we can add another thing to the append from the zero. This is the zeroth position, which would be where the 1 is, and it'll pen so it sticks on the end. Okay, now I know I've got a series of tests that does something like this already in this code, but the learning has not landed. All right, now what do you think that's going to do? I'm going to predict it's going to do this. Anyone want to lay any bets? Wow, you guys could have made some money off me. It just sticks it on the end. It doesn't freaking care. Why do you ask me start and end if you're not going to care? Oh, you evil, vile API. What is your story? Is it because I'm using it wrong? Or maybe I don't know. Let's go look into this. Start, end, start, end. I'm just passing it on into the string buffer. You are just a loony thing. Start index, end index. The language of this. Who wrote this stuff? Just is a nut. There's an insert. The writing on this is so obtuse. And wow, it's really a long, big API. We work with the strings a lot. Substring, subsequences, split, replace. Append in. Doesn't even I like how append in doesn't even say what it does. Append line. Append in. No idea what that does. Indices. Last index. All right. I'm trying to decide something here. Append range. Oh, aggravation. All right. I have had a tough battle today. It's past an hour, and I have not. The show has not gone the way we wanted it to be. So append. specified value to this appendable and returns the instance. All right, fine. And they don't actually bother to talk about things like start index. Yeah. Very frustrating. Kotlin API. I could sit here and complain about it, but I will resist. Okay, so what have I learned with this? One, two, three. It says it's expected to start. So, all right, so this is position 0, position 1, position 2. Zero, 1, 2. And it's going to exclude the last part, is what I recall. And let's see if that test passes. No, it does not. Draw the thing out of bounds. 0, 1. 0, 1, 2, 3. 0, 1. Why am I getting out of bounds? Just trying some random things now. All right. So that's going to work, but it's not honoring my boundaries. And I don't know why it doesn't honor my boundaries. All right, let's try something even weirder. All right, now I want to append it at 1. Oh, this is not an append now. This is an insert. Is that the problem? Maybe are the boundaries about the input string? So if you would tell me these things, Kotlin, I would have to sit here and guess on the show. Oh, you crazed people. They should not be allowed to write code if you cannot bother to document it so somebody can follow it. All right, let's try this. Okay, I think I cracked the nut here. I think it's doing this. Okay, so this is my guess now. That I'm going to append a 2, and that the boundaries is now about the input string. Oh, you crazy API writers. All right, so far so good. Now if I change this, it's going to append an A because A is at the 0 first position. All right, let's see what happens. This test will fail because it has an A instead of a 2. And I'm going to make a bad face. Yes, this is me, Kotlin. I'm making a crappy face to you because I can't believe you guys can't write documentation for code that isn't self-documenting. I've spent minutes, bordering tens of minutes, discovering what you mean by start and end because you wouldn't bother telling me. And you mean the start and end of this, not the start of end of this. Wow. All right, well, a mystery has been solved. Oh, good grief, Kotlin. So it's always going to be this. Now, when I write these tests, if I want to insert, I have to call insert. So if I go back up here, and I don't mean, so what I meant is where you insert. And at that point, I do not know if we want append or if we want insert. Let's check it out. Insert. All right, now we have a where is the integer. We have the character sequence, and we have the start and end. Wow, that's the business. That'll actually make more sense. Okay. Insert at, insertion point, comma, what I'm inserting, which is text. And now do I need these other points? No, because I'm always inserting the whole stupid thing. In my case. Now, I'm gonna have to add it to my Spannable string builder, which is right here. No, my Spannable string builder. Yeah, like that. Am I using super or am I using buffer? I'm using buffer. Super. I don't know, maybe super would work too, but I've been using buffer, so I better stick with that for now. I have to go back and look at my test. All right, so the test, let's run all of those tests, not that one test. Yeah, folks, you should be in the habit of running all your tests rather than just running one test. That way you can see big picture what's happening. You're fully using your automation to like investigate everything. Now, what do we got going on here? This might be correct. I have to go back and see what I was doing here. All right, I'm gonna ignore this. I don't think I need this now until I have to learn how insert works if it doesn't work the way I expect it. Wow, single digit's failing now. Wow, what's going on now? I don't know. All right, we have this. User types on phone 1. Oh, okay. And for some reason, it got a 1, 1. That means something is not working here. User types on phone, text, insertion point. Oh, I shouldn't have append. Right? Oh, let's see what happens. I shouldn't have append. All right, now back on track with this. Types on phone text to at insertion point. All right, yes, we're learning here. All right, user types on phone 1. Okay, looks great. User types on phone 2. And what I expect to have is 1, 2 with too many X's because we haven't had the code adjust for the mask. And I got a weird error. So we have a 2-string here. I got a 2-string this baby. Okay. And I don't 2-string this either. Because text box has a object inside. What's wrong? It'll handle that for me, I suppose. All right, let's run that test. Expected 1, 2, right. All right, so this code now passed. The extra X is there, which we expect my text watcher to handle that. That's the service it's providing. It's maintaining the mask. Now, it's saying that, now maybe we're at the test failure that I expected to have at the beginning of the show. I expected to have, okay, yeah, I'm expecting it to maintain the mask, 12X-XXX, okay? And now it's failing, and I don't think I've written the code to make that pass, so this might be okay. Let me run the phone now. I know, it's funny. I've spent like about 90 minutes getting to the point I hope to be a long time ago. It's always disconcerting, but welcome to development. All right, so 1, 2. All right, see, the mask isn't working right. Now, my unit test is validating that, yeah, the code doesn't do the right thing, just like the phone does. We had to spend time figuring out tens of minutes, figuring out the stupid, terribly ill documented Kotlin code. Sorry, Kotlin, I'm just pissed off now. You really shouldn't have to make me work so hard. And especially for things like not having it well documented wastes everybody's time. It's like, I'm just one developer. There's 20 million developers in the world. Maybe 1 million of them are doing Kotlin. And so you're wasting 1 million developer hours. Tens of millions of developer hours when you have bad documentation like this. Okay, now. So this is failing, and it's failing because, where's my test? You know, another one for Android Studio. Like, why can I not see my test run now? Rerun app? I don't want to run my app. I want to see my test output. I don't know, guys. Android, what I would really love to have is the old test runner back, running as fast as the new test runner. If you can make that happen, best of both worlds. Right now I have fast test running, but I have this not as good an experience using the tests. Okay, so what is the error here? Get over here. I expected this, but I got all this other stuff. I think that's exactly what my phone's doing. 1, 2. I'm gonna give that a big dab. Dab, not an X out. I was hexing out, sorry, I wasn't ready. We're not stopping the show yet, folks. Right, David? Yeah, I think he said, yeah, David agreed. We're not ready to X out yet. We want to actually get some functionality done. Got to earn our beers. We try to earn our beers on the show. But I don't know. David keeps calling in with a cocktail, so. But he is the solopreneur. Okay, so the test is failing for bloody great reasons because code doesn't handle it. Now, how do we want to handle it? And I wish we were able to do this 10 minutes into every show where we have the failing test case and we're all happy. But, you know, it's like apparently I spend 90 minutes so I get 30 minutes of coding in. And then I always start, show is always 2 hours to the one. Wah, Lance. All right. It doesn't matter. This isn't a TDD problem. This is just development, bro. Development is not easy work. Okay, so if you want easy work, go flip burgers, and you'll be bored. And that's how you know it's easy work, is because you're bored. Okay, so we're going to go add some code. We're going to actually add some functionality that we want this phone to have. And we do that in SSN Text Watcher because the code we're testing is in SSN Text Watcher test. See it up there? I'm highlighting it. And that's a hint that this unit test is about driving code into this bad boy. And this bad boy, oh, this dear old bad boy. I probably ought to delete some of this other stuff in here. Like, what's all this? I'm going to leave it alone. Maybe when I handle, well, let's see here. After text change, what user entered? This looks like garbage code that I should delete. Yeah, it looks like I was confused about something. All right. Now, notice this. It says if character's length is greater than 1, it adds that. If not, it adds XX. So if we look back into the future, we could keep this up. We check with the length and we just adjust the mask. And we check with the length and we adjust the mask. So that means we would have an if statement with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 else's, right? We get by with 9 else's. Or we need fancier logic to do like a for loop, and we find where the mask stopped and adjust it for the length of the string. So we would use an algorithm. We would algorithmically adjust based on 2 inputs, the user input and the mask. I like that idea. I like it so much, I think we need to make a new object to manage that. And that's going to save us from adding the complexity into this class. So folks, like a friend at work said the other day, you need a code. Like you get paid per class. I mean, that means making lots of classes because that's how you're getting paid. So I think we're going to go ahead and make a new class right now, and its job is to take in 2 things as input and then output 1 thing. It's going to take in a editable and a mask, and then it's going to output a new editable, and it's basically going to do a merge function of the mask. Let me think about this. Sorry, I'm trying to think ahead here, guys. Let's see if I can do this next 30 minutes to an hour. It's going to take in an editable, it's going to take in a mask, and it's going to return a result. And that result is going to be, let's see, the characters are coming in. Oh, wait, hang on a second. Who's calling compute mask? This is calling compute mask. And that's on after text changed. And after text change is when user before text change, it has the count of characters added. Blows an interface from text watch. Yeah, of course. So editable. I wonder if I should get rid of some of these things after text changed. I don't think we need this anymore. Hour value, characters, bang, bang, length. That's weird. That's just getting the length. I see. Yeah, no, let's just not add more garbage and let's start taking some of this out. I don't think we need all this anymore. Okay, so, whoa, look at that. It's angry at me. Why is deleting this print line instantiating the word characters? What the? So deleting this causes what? Type mismatch. Characters. But if I leave this in here, print character's length. Now I'm just blown away. What's going on with that, kids? So what does the bang bang operator do? That does not seem to be doing the same thing it does in Swift. That is funky. What's that operator doing? That's doing something weird. No safety, that's where it is. Optional. Okay, this returns b.length if b is not null and otherwise. So b is not null and null otherwise. Okay. Not null assertion. Converts any value to a non-nullable type, and those exceptions if the value is null. So it seems like once that's called, it converts it into the not nullable type. Wow, very interesting. So if I delete this code, I have to like redo it here to make it go away, or I have to go like this, which sometimes will be null or the type. Okay, so when I'm calling characters to string, I'm already establishing that it's not nullable. Right there. Okay. In fact, I'm doing it up here too, this print line. So apparently that hints to the whole program, the whole scope here. That's never going to be nullable. All right, fine. That will work. What a bizarre situation. Okay, now, back to this. How are we going to do this? I want to make a new class. I want a new break in life. Like this code, it's just going to get big. Like if I actually wrote it with all those else's, that's 8 else's. That's a lot of stinking badgers. But I don't need so many. I don't want so many stinking badgers. And but let me think. Can I do that? I would input in a new character, and it would have to establish that it's not equal to the mask. Yeah, that should work. I think that'll work. Okay. So here's the story. This is going to get moved to a new method, new class. Okay, and let's do the extraction right now. That's going to be a private extraction for now. It's weird. Move says, can I perform only supported for top level decorations and nested classes? Anyways, that's how you do it. Good old copy paste. And if I add it in here, Java level. It's not a test. Okay, so what's the name of this class? This class is the masked man. What is one who creates mask? Is it a masker? Like a hatter? Maybe. We go mask processor if we want to be fancy about it, but a masquerade. What is one who throws masquerades? I don't know. Mask producer, mask decider, mask manager. We don't like the word manager. Mask boss, mask master. All those words. Let's go with just masker. That is one who makes masks. Okay, we're going to paste this lovely little code in here. And now, it's no longer so private. It is going to be public, because that's all this guy does. He's in public about it. He's out about it. He's masking. He's going to compute masks. Wow. And he's going to have to return a mask. So he's going to take in, I got some adjusting to do here. You have to return this baby. We're going to adjust all the names here in a moment. It's going to turn a characters, editable. Character sequence, something like that. Char sequence, probably. Implements, all those things. If you give me the editable, it's an in-out variable. So I think I don't need to return anything. But I do need to take a mask. But for now, I don't need to. Mask equals. Oh, maybe I do need to pass in. Can I do in-out? Does Colin do in-outs? Well, how is that going to do work? Kotlin. So the Kotlin. contravariant and covariant. Boy. Define generics, huh? Yeah. That's fancy words, so that's not really going to be helpful for me here. All right, so I'm going to assume it's like Java now. And we have to pass in a mask and adjust the mask as an editable too. Would that work? Let's go back and see what mask is declared at in here. Mask. What are you, mask? You are a private string builder. You can pass the string builder in here, and we can adjust the mask. That will work. All right, masker. Okay. Why are you doing this Java link stuff? Okay. That's mask. And this is more than characters now. This becomes the user input. And then we have the mask at the end. Including mask. User input merged with mask. And then to get the mask out, we have to have that mask separately over here so we can figure out what's mask and what's user input. That is the whole problem. This is the only thing it needs to solve, is that. And this was easy to solve until we decided to handle social security numbers with characters in it like X's. Okay, so, and there's a story behind that, but we'll leave that alone for now. All right, user input merged with mask, greater than 1. It says, hey, the mask is going to be like this, da 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 da. Now, that's interesting. Why is this value not going to be reassigned into? Oh, that's true. Mask is a string builder. Insert. All right, insert and character array offset. And starting at offset 0, comma, the length of this thing. It's running a lot more code than I wanted to write. I have a failing test for it though, and I'm going to break this code out for now, and then later I'm going to write more tests for this code that, as a separate class. So that's why I broke this out in a separate class. It makes everything a lot easier for testing. Because everything here has really not anything to do with the view layer. It's just mask. All right, what's going on here? Insert. Insert's unhappy with me. Why? New mask is a string buffer. Oh, new mask is a string in this case. Capital S. Okay. No. Okay, sorry, we're not done here. Dot length, but then I lost this. There should be a 0 comma here, right? Okay, so we start, destination offset is 0. Probably not correct on that either, now that I think about it. Destination offset should be, has to be computed by this code. And, oh, okay, yeah. So it's assumed to be 0 because this is cruddy, lousy code with if conditions, and we're probably going to turn this into a logical expression to handle it in a generic sense rather than keep adding if-elses, which could actually work too. And isn't a horrible, horrible idea. It's easy to read, but it's, I'm going to think that the maintainability won't be as good. Yeah, we'll see. All right, and then so right now I'm struggling by refactoring without changing the code too much, but I'm still having to change code some, right? Because I can't make this new way work unless I get it set up. So maybe the good news is once I get this set up, I can dramatically improve it in the next show because I'm clearly using all my time up just getting to the point where I'm getting all hot and bothered. Insert. Now I'm inserting this into, I don't think that part's right. So 0. It's going to be the string. And that's supposed to be the same way here too. I wonder why it wants to introduce local variables. Okay, now, so I have a new mask here. And now what is this damn code doing? It's really not doing anything useful, because I'm not inserting it yet into the user input merged with mask. And that's what this should be doing. Not, okay, user input. Right? Yes. All right, I gotta change this still. Starting at 1. So the user entered one thing in. We're going to get this test to pass before we close the show today. We're going to X out. And then the next show, we're going to refactor this into an algorithm rather than using if-elses. So I'm going to stay with this model for one more show. And then we're going to ash can it. We're going to make it beautiful the next show. Okay, so this code 0. Why am I so confused how to do this? Something like that. Sorry, gang. I'm just trying to get this thing to sort of like you're saying. Okay, so I think that'll actually work. Okay. My goal is to refactor this. That last test I wrote is still going to fail. The other test about single user input will pass. And then we'll add in another if-else here. That will make it pass. For the new test, this one right here that's failing. But first, we've got to prove our refactoring works. So we have a masker. And I expect the next show we're going to write more code on this guy directly rather than go work through this SSN text watcher. And I'm really happy that we're getting more code out of this because this class is going to keep blowing up. Because folks are going to tell you, developers have a very bad habit of just sitting on the same class and keep adding functionality in the same class, and it grows and grows and grows and grows. So what you're seeing me struggle with, oh, my brain, it hurts, I don't want to do it, but I'm going to do it. I'm going to take that code and put it in a new pretty class, and I'm going to refactor it, and you're going to see those tests still pass using that new pretty class. And then the next show, we're going to focus on just writing tests to the pretty class, and it's going to magically, it's going to be amazing. I'm telling you, folks, I can see the future now. It's a beautiful, bright future. And as I add code into the masker, it's going to automatically incorporate that functionality into the SSN text watcher, and it's going to make I'm not going to have to write more tests at the SSN text watcher level anymore. I'm just going to write a very tight little test for that one thing, and it's going to make the whole thing work. It's going to be beautiful. And if the next show I can't make it happen, I have to go back to this show, play this to you, and then apologize for being an idiot. But yes, this is what's going to happen. All right? All right, cool. So let's get the factory done this show and make that bright future come closer to us. Come closer. All right? But I'm going to tell you, anytime you're feeling like you keep adding code in the same class, you got to challenge yourself to move it out. And it hurts. Like it's hurting me here. You can see the strain in my teeth. See, strained smile. All right, whew, got that out of my way. All right, SSN text watcher. Mask, string builder. We're gonna leave that alone for now. All right, we're gonna use it. We're gonna need a masker. Oh my God. Val masker, and it is a masker. I'm just going to make equals. I don't have to do all this. Boom, like that. Okay? Shazam! A masker. Okay. Now, we're going to go down into, we got to use the masker. See there? Compute mask. It's going to use the masker. Called compute mask. Come on, masker, help me here. And I need to pass in my mask. Okay, so my mask, it's got to record the state. So that class I just created is stateless. And this class, the text watcher, stateful. So now I need to keep a track of what mask it has at this point. And what mask it has at this point initially is the initial mask. Right? So I'm going to double check what's going on here. Yeah, we've got all this appending going on. Oh, wow. That's appending the mask to the end of the characters. So masker, what should masker be doing here? I said earlier it's going to take user input and mask, and it's going to generate the combined result. Does that make sense? Here, sorry, I'm trying to figure out how to integrate this. I do not think, okay, what did this code used to say just a moment ago? Oh, it did compute mask. And compute mask generated the amount of X's and dashes. Okay? That's what it needs to do. It needs to generate the amount number of X's and dashes. And then that's what masker can do. And then, sorry, I'm losing my code. Here it is. And then the safely, that has to be done in this code. because we don't want to trigger events, and this is how we manage not to trigger those events. All right. So compute mask is going to be masker. I'm going to have to make an adjustment here because I didn't quite get this API right. And we're going to need a little, I'm just going to do this. Safely append mask on the end. So this mask, I just got a lot of mask variables here I got to figure out. I got to figure out how to work with this guy. So mask here is a string builder. And there's the initial mask. Companion object, constant value. It's in here twice. Wicked little boy. All right, and so I think, yeah, there's a lot of little variables we don't like to have any. I don't want to have all these variables. So, but we do have them right now. Where'd this go? Before text, after text. So it's right here. We're going to figure out how to compute it. And that's going to be the mask. Not work as mask. Is it here too? What's this about? Oh, this code. What user entered? I wonder why this comment's here. I think that must be yesterday, at the end of the last show, when I was talking about how we're going to differentiate. All right, I got to undo a little bit because I got to remember how to make this code work. Okay. All right, so notice it's using this class variable here. So we probably should set that class variable as a result of that call. Okay, and that's true. That's already everything. I think I know why I said that. Is this variable used anywhere? I should delete that variable, right? Who is using this variable? This variable looks wrong. Who's using you? No one's using you. Okay, so that's deletable. Yeah, I'm changing a lot of code right now, and I'm not happy about that. So I'm going to back out, and I'm going to simplify it. It's easier to work on code that's been simplified than to work on code that's complexified, as some solopreneur would say. Let's see here. I'm going to hit undo. It's going to be easy to add that code back in. All right, compute mask. And that's setting the mask as a local variable. Ah, yeah, that makes sense. Okay, now I want to take this code out, right? And I want to run my tests. I've got a lot that I want to do. So my goal, I decided to back up a little bit, take smaller steps. I want to get rid of this code. That looks like nonsense. And I don't know why. What user entered? Where are you even declared at? Nobody's using you. I was trying to create a separation between what the user entered and the mask. But how this is going to work is I'm going to keep track of the mask and know that the user entered is the stuff that isn't in the mask. All right? That should work okay. So I do not need this bloody variable That is my assertion. So let's find out if it's right. So if I run all my tests right now, they should be passing except for the one, and I'll mark it frickin' ignored so we don't get confused. Because I'm making a lot of little steps in here. All right, ignore. We'll come back to you. Got a lot of ignored tests. I don't like that either. All right, boom. They're going to be all green. So now we're trying to make sure we don't make our lives worse. So we're just checking to see what my current state of functionality is before I take out that line. And then I'm going to do all those 2 steps again, run the unit test, run the manual test to see if I've broken the code. Right? Looks good. 1, 2. Okay, now we get the bad functionality that I've been wanting to work on today. Now, good news is everything looks good. I'm set up. Now let's go back and take that line out. You can see me taking little steps here because I don't want to make my life harder by having to go into a debug session. Where'd that line of code go that I want to delete? This is it. All right, I'm going to delete you. I'm going to have to use this on that guy. And I'm going to delete this. Nice, right? We get rid of a variable. That's kind of cool. Let's see if it really worked. Let's run this in the unit tests, manual test. Okay, same functionality. Good, no bugs, no regressions. We don't want to make things worse. We always want to establish that things are getting better. So that's what I'm trying to do. All right, everything passed. Well, you know what I mean. Yeah, everything that we meant to pass is passing. Now, let's go back to refactoring. So we've got our state that we care about. We have this mask appear, and the user cursor apparently is a position as well. Interesting. Okay, compute mask. So this compute mask code is now going to use the masker. Okay, so it's going to be mask. Oh, I have to add that in. Again. Okay. Let me go back to that thing and see if we get the A signature right. Compute mask, it's going to take the user input, which is going to be all of those characters, because that's the characters with the mask. And it's going to take the current mask, because that's how it's going to know what's mask and what's not. Now, this masker isn't actually using that very correctly yet, but and then it's going to return the mask because I'm storing that state in this thing so that later on I can pass it back into this function because it's going to be stateless. I'm going to have to keep telling it what's the new mask and what's the new user input. Maybe later we'll change it to stateful, but for now that's the story. Okay, so now this is going to return a string builder. Should be okay. I could return a string builder or a string. Do I care? I don't know. Let's just try a string builder for now, because that would be really different. And it will return you. I'll probably have to take a bigger local variable, a new mask. So it's a var now. Okay. Oh, wow, they're just strings. That's okay. Let's just use string then. I have this colon stuff going on here. Not sure I can do this with string. That's right. Okay, so we can probably have to late init this thing. Oh, okay. All right, a reference to a string, and then we set it here. I think I can do a val with a late init. That would be bizarre. Is that one word? Yeah, it is, but I don't know. It won't let me use it in this way. Okay. Only immutable. Local variables. Yeah, but I don't see the point. Okay. Now, we've refactored the design. We're calling compute mask. See? Somewhere. Right here. And it's still unhappy, so we're not quite doing it right. It's returning a string, and this is a string builder, correct? So we're going to have to do like a dot something. Maybe it's a... Okay. Oh, Java. That's interesting. Okay. Right? And we can make this function go away. Let's run it and see if it all works out. Oh, interesting. All right. Something didn't work out. It's good that I have these tests tell me that. What is going on? We're doing an insert at compute mask and insert with these sizes. Okay, so I got to go update my mock object because I have to maintain its ability to use what it is I'm building here. Insert, so there's an insert with more different override. This thing's going to graduate into a pretty useful thing pretty soon. Insert, whoa. Yeah, that's the right API. I don't like it, how it's formatted though, at all. ICKY formatting. Yes, I want it ICKY formatted. What is that supposed to be? Text builder, maybe? No, I don't know what TB is. Tuberculosis, as far as I know. Okay. Okay, now the test I think will work. Let's find out. Boom, didn't work. There, I'm learning again. See, these tests are teaching me. What are we going on here? This is in user enters single digits failing. So I've successfully avoided having an undiscovered regression. I've discovered the regression immediately. That's what these unit tests do. Okay, I expected this, but I got something with the 1 attached to the end. So it's clearly not doing its job. So what am I doing wrong? It's like I want this to overwrite this, and it didn't do it the right way. So somehow I got it to append instead of insert. Okay, first of all, is this all correct? Looks correct. Now let's go figure out what's going on in the code. All right, text watcher, what's going on here? So what did I change? I added this. This is the big change here. So my computer isn't working. Mask computer. So it's taking the characters, right? Yeah. And then it's going to pass in mask. Now I think I can imagine what the problem is. I don't know that mask is set at this point. I'm very curious what that would be. I don't know what mask is at this point. I think mask is equal to nothing. Let's see where it's let's see how it's used. Find usages. So its goal is to append that mask onto the end, which I think is what the test did. But that doesn't solve the problem, which is test. Where's that? This Kotlin or Android? Where? Okay, there it is. Where is, see, now how do I look at my test run? This is not helpful. Oh my God. That's a run there. Oh, here we are. Okay, so it's taking a perfectly good initial mask and adding the user input on the end, which is not at all what I want to do. How did I avoid that with the other way? All right, so I'm gonna have to undo my code again to take a look. So this guy is gonna take the characters and append only the mask. All right. So that means the mask has to be sized down. That's what it's expecting. Safely append mask onto end. And it's doing it safely because it's preventing reentry work with these action state object. Probably ought to rename that to like prevent reentry, so it's like super clear. Let's change that right now. Prevent reentry guard. Or guard against reentry. That's a verb. Reentry guard. That's a noun. Bouncer. Reentry. But I need the word reentry. I think that's important. So this will prevent reentry by returning right away. Otherwise, it will compute the mask. And here it will take the, okay, and what it should return is the XXX. And what it's doing is it's appending. It should append the mask, because the mask at this point in time always goes on the end. I'm not getting too fancy where it wouldn't be on the end. All right, so compute the mask should return a mask that's just a single X. It's not even doing that right. It's looking at too many X's here. Ugh, mask manager's all messed up. All right, what's going on with my masker? Masker's not working right. And I don't have direct unit tests on it, so I'm trying to get it inserted so I can write a unit test later. But let's see what's going on. User input with mask. If the length is greater than 1, it will be like this. And that's a very short new mask. If its length is equal to 1 or less than 1, it will be set to that. Now, for some reason, user input with mask in my scenario of single digit, oh yeah, scenario single digit. Yeah, it's just all wrong. So, oh my God. All right, so I want to finish the show sooner rather than later because it's getting to 6 o'clock. This code isn't doing its job. I'm going to give it a little bit more time, like a few minutes. If I don't figure it out, I'm going to back out and put this back in the if-else condition. And then I will make the code work using the if-else strategy with doing the thing I don't want to do, which is make the code bigger, and then I can refactor it next time. All right, world always has its constraints. Let's see if I can, first of all, see if I can get this to work. I'm just going to look at it really quick, and I say, oh, let's see, editable. If it's greater than 0, it's going to set the mask to this. If it's not greater than 0, it's going to set the mask to that. In this case, editable should be 1, which is greater than 1. No, it's not greater than 1. It's equal to 1. Oh, yeah. Okay, that's correct. It should be 2 x's. Sorry, apparently it's been, yeah. So the mask is coming out correctly. It should be XX, blah, 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 blah. So this part is perfect. Perfect. But for some reason, I'm getting the imperfect part there as well. So I'm doubling the mask. I probably got old code in the other class. That's messing me up. I'm not even using this mask because I'm not ready to. So that's funny, but I would use it. I think I would use it pretty darn soon. Yeah, this code is not going to work pretty quickly. I got to be using the mask more to, I could be using, these if conditions can be driven off the mask, not driven off the input. Because user input, after the first time, it's going to be like, it's going to be, the mask is going to shrink as user inputs. And that's how I should be driving this. I shouldn't be driving this off user input because I can't differentiate user input once the mask is mixed in there. Okay. So right now, what's the bug? So we got compute mask, string builder, masker, compute mask, passes this in. This isn't actually used right now, but I know I'm going to need it. And it's going to record the mask. That's output. And that should be perfect. And then this is going to safely append the mask onto the end right there. Why? Oh, why isn't working? All right, I'm going to run it in the application as well because I want to confirm. Maybe I'm beating myself up and there's something problem. There's a problem somewhere else. Let's see if the application reflects the same issue. Am I going to get double masked? Because it's possible there's something wrong with my test code. Yeah, it's really not happy. It's probably crashing. Yeah, it didn't work very well. That's going to crash. It's going forever. You naughty little computer. Naughty little computer. Okay. All right, clearly something's not working there. Very surprised by that, though. All right, so I'm frustrated because I wanted to finish this, but it's just getting late, and I'm gonna have to let it go soon. I don't know why. What's it going forever? Yeah, it's growing forever. The mask is never gonna stop. So it's really weird. It looks like the reentry code has stopped working, but I see it right there. App is adding mask, and then it's got this safely add on the end, true and false. So that all looks fine. How in the world did adding this all of a sudden break everything in the world? That I don't get. So looks right. Characters. Looks correct. So let's try this. Let's put this code back over there. Insert on our top part is probably new. Why am I inserting it? Why? Oh, well, there's a problem. I'm inserting. Okay. There's the problem. I can't be inserting. When the hell did that get in there? That's not going to work. We just want to compute the mask. That's all it should be doing. Well, that's why. If I'm inserting, that's going to cause a bunch of edit events to happen all over the place. All right, so let me run this code and then see if it works. Whoops, something's not right here. Type mismatch. We have Kotlin strings, and this is a string builder, right? Yeah. Yikes. This is IDE not helping me. I'm going to get Eclipse, and I'm going to make Eclipse do Kotlin programming. Wouldn't that just be twisted? I'm pretty sure that won't make me any happier. Okay. Yeah. Okay. So I think that's what was happening before. Okay, so now I think I can fix the problem. Masker shouldn't be doing this. It should be just computing the mask. I don't know. Apparently I went crazy when I was in this code. All the user input is based on, yeah, it's not very good code. There's problems with this code too. And go back to here. We'll at least get the damn design a little bit better. Filth and foul. Okay. Let's run the app and then we'll run the unit tests. And then I want that unit test to pass, right? And then I want to close the show because I'm going to start my Friday. Holy smokes. I swear, people, this live stream makes my Fridays a little longer. Okay, so it worked. And that was the problem. Now, will my test pass? I would like my test to pass. And if that test passes, then we want my double string input test to pass, and then we will be ready for, I'll add in a tiny bit more functionality, and I will add no more functionality until we refactor that code. I hope I can do this without causing a lot of trouble, because I'm actually pushing the limits of what I can do with my current setup. There's a problem that's going to happen where I have to switch my logic. My if-else logic is all garbage when you start really getting into more and more functionality. Okay, so let's go make that test. Let's go see if we can get that test to pass, and let's close the show. Text on, okay, where's my test? After user inputs. Reading through my tests here. User adds first number. I have to clean out all these lousy tests I don't need, that aren't going to be supported. All right, user enters 2 digits. All right, this test will fail. This is the test we were trying to get working, but then I went into refactoring, and now I'm done refactoring. Refactoring's done. Now it's time to test drive in some functionality. 2 digits. Okay, so expected 1 to x dash, but was 1 to xx da 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 da. Okay. Should only be 1 x there left, not 2 x's. All right, so we go in this cool thing called masker. What says if user input with mask's length is greater than, like it's the first. And this isn't really the right way to do it. The right way to do it is to use mask. Oh my God, can I switch to that functionality? Can I refactor that? I should probably refactor to using mask. Okay. You're gonna go like, my God, man, you keep ignoring that test. Well, I'm gonna ignore the test again, and we're gonna refactor this code, because this code is gonna outlive its time soon. I should be looking at mask, not this. Because this is going to be, we can't trust that. That's got the mask mixed in with user input. And in the context of social security numbers that have letters, we can't just differentiate it by counting X's. Okay, so we are going to use this to make the existing test pass, and it's going to work like this. If mask is 0, it's going to be this one. If mask is greater than 1, okay, that should work. It's not well written though. All right, if there is no mask, it's the initial mask. If there's a mask that has not the initial mask, then it's going to be equal to blah. It's going to be equal to this mask up here, but now we can get rid of this first piece. Oh, I wonder if I could do that dynamically. Let's not do it dynamically yet. Oh, I think that would be really cool if I did that. Okay, let's see if the test passes. And it does. Nice. Now we've switched over to the logic of looking at the mask instead of the user input. Let's see if it actually works on the phone. Okay, There. It's still working equally as badly as it expected. Now, we want to handle the other test. We are ready to think about this. Hang on a second. I'm trying to decide if I want to actually adjust this. So another way to do this is if the mask is all right. Let's make the test pass. I'm arguing with myself here because I feel like there's another way to skin this cat, but I'm going to do it this. Let's just get the unit test to pass. So let's bring the unit test back here, and I have to run it to see them again because there's no way to get a look at past execution. Okay. On user enters 2 digits. Okay, we're turning that back on. Let's make this test pass. And then we'll maybe refactor before we close the show. Okay. Okay. So the test fails because it doesn't have the right mask, right? It's gone too crazy. Now, masker. You can help my situation immensely. Is if you say this. In the case when mask equals, I think I can do this equals. I'm gonna just. This is gonna be an interesting way to write it. What do I have to do? Dot equals? Yeah, maybe. Okay. So in the case when it equals, when the previous instance of the mask was the full Monty, we just reduce it by 1 step. What's wrong here? It's giving me a headache. What's going on? Oh, I've got like a, I don't know what's wrong here. It's weird. Okay. How does your equals work, you silly little beast? Should be this. Oh, another one. There it is. Type of Boolean can't be invoked as a function? Oh. Oh, I need an if. Apparently I'm getting pretty tired. Okay. Else, I mean, again, I can run that test and I expect that other one to still fail. Still expect the one to fail. Whoa, except that they're not compiling. Okay, what's wrong here? New mask must be initialized. Okay. Okay. Still the one test is failing. All right, like I expected. So you can see I'm keep running these tests step by step to kind of make sure I'm not doing the wrong thing. If, and I'm using the if conditional strategy for a moment, and then the next show will nip that one down. So now I'm going to say, these are state changes. I'm just describing my state change. So if I go like, well, in the case where it was 2 x's, it goes down to 1 x. In the case, okay, so in the case it's nothing, it uses it knows the mask is 2 x's because somebody typed in something. Because the initial mask is already presented to the user. And as soon as the user types in, the initial mask goes away. That's how it works on Android. Oh, that's interesting. So this is the new mask. And then the next time the user types something, so if it's 1 x, here it's like 1x, right? And that, in that case, the mass should be this, user input of 1. And next time, it's going to be even different again. It's going to be the same thing, because in this case, the user types in, and we want it to be this. Want to be. See, like that. It's that. First digit. Okay. So now if the mass equals the last thing I just looked at, okay. So I'm describing the state changes. I hope that this will solve the problem, make that test pass, and then we'll test the application, and then we will X out. Oh dear, look at that. The test did not pass, so what happened here? All right, expected this to happen, but was XX dash, so I've got 2 X's still. Should only be 1 X. Why did that happen? Probably because the mask didn't enter this situation. Okay. So the question is, why didn't this trigger the right thing? So that means mask must not be equal to what I think it should be equal. Compute mask. Do we even care about characters? Oh, that's so weird. I don't seem to care about characters right now. I'm passing it in, but I'm not even using it. I don't think I do, but I'm going to leave it alone. Oh, excuse me, folks. It's getting that time of day. Okay, why didn't that work? Okay, why do I think this isn't working? So after text change happens, it's going to compute mask, pass it in the mask, and to get back a new mask, which should be fine. I don't see any problem with that. I feel like I'm going to have to put in a breakpoint in here. Or I can start writing unit tests directly against the class. How am I going to debug this? I could debug it using the debugger, but that's not going to give me any new tests to run tomorrow. So I'm going to go add a new test. I was hoping hoping to avoid this writing today, but we'll do it because it's going to be faster. It's not going to take that much more time. Okay, so here we go. We go masker test. What is my function going to do? It's going to generate mask for single digit. All right, so I'm testing the word. Is it generate mask? Yeah, I think so. Generate mask. Compute mask, something like that. Current mask. Not that complicated of a class when you get down to this point. And it's supposed to give me, the state change should be this. I'll just leave this null, because I'm not using it right now. And string builder. Really gonna make me put something in here? Okay, fine. Editable. It's gonna be like maybe another string. Strings aren't editable though. All right, now I'm gonna have to graduate this test code into a big class that I can use everywhere. If I have to make it editable, I have to have this class that's a Spannable string builder. So this guy is going to turn into a top-level class now because it's now needed in multiple classes. This is test code, so it's going to be in the test method, test area. And sure. Okay. test. Something like that. And I'm doing all this nonsense because of something that I probably don't have to pass in to start with. So it's a little bit of a pity here. And I'll fix all that for me. Now what's wrong with cert equals? Okay. Something didn't compile. And go to problems. Package directive does not match location. Now I'm looking at Spannable string builder. That is completely accurate. You need to go there into the right spot now. Come on, baby. Move. To package. Tests passed. All right, now I have to import this. It's funny. Alt enter. What's all this? I remember that. Mask setter test? That one failed. Oh, interesting. Okay, so what I'm learning is when I pass in a mask, it's doing, it's not returning a proper mask. Why is that? If mask length is equal to 0, it will return this one. That's a weird special case because the user typed something in. Maybe I didn't do that right. Yeah, that's true. I could set it to that, but it, yeah, maybe I should. This is, okay, so if I run it, that test will pass, but I think it should pass. I think it's funny logic. Let's make this logic actually a little bit more straightforward. So if mask length is, if mask equals, because it'll look more consistent. If we do mask, let's just, we can set these conditions. XXX, like that. Then I should test drive it. You kid. Let's test drive this. We're going to test drive this if we have a better mask. Okay. All right, good. All right, now. Oh, I did expect that to fail. So mask came in here. And it got nothing. Why did that happen? Back is Alt. Butterfly. Okay. Current mask set to there. Boom, boom, boom. 1, 2, 3. Okay. And it failed. Why did it fail? Why did it fail? All right, current mask is equal to this. We have a string builder. And masker is going to take that. Well, it is a string builder. Is that the problem here? Is that string builder needs to do a .toString? Maybe that's the problem. Yeah, that might be the problem. Let's find out. That's the problem. All right, great. Now, we got to start paving the way that this works the same way in here. So remember we initialized the mask somewhere in here to nothing. Even though it's not used for initial mask, because this is used for initial mask down here, we're going to get it there. In fact, we can be super sneaky. We can go text watcher dot mask. Probably ought to change this word to initial mask or something. Okay. Now, That's why that code didn't work a while back. It's because I didn't get a toString, because I'm working with string builders. Why am I working with string builders? Probably don't need to work with string builders. So next show, do I need user input merged with mask as a parameter? Do I need to use a string builder when I'm not at building strings? I think there's some pretty obvious answers the way I'm framing it now. Okay. And we just return string. Okay, cool. All right, let's go back to this test. We're going to start TDDing the hell out of this a little bit. Oops, yeah, that's all right. Second digit. Bad little robot. Okay. Okay. Expect that to happen. Been changing a lot of code. I better double check these things. User enters 2 digits, still failing. And this one is failing too because we haven't fixed the code. And we're going to be there soon though. Cool. Now, when I get this third test written, this test will pass too. And this is where I was talking about earlier, like we could test the hell out of it by getting this piece and we build it and build it and build it, and then the whole other rest of the functionality that depends on it starts working the right way. Okay? So let's see if we can get that to happen. You're getting a lot of extra work out of me on this Friday. It's, oh boy, let's not look at the time there. Masker test. I'm not in love with, I want to do arrange act assert on one line. I really want to do this. I don't want to, I just don't think it's well documented, so I'm bothered. See if I do this, refactor. And where's my inline? Inline, where are you? Inline property? Inline property. It's not right. Once again. Okay, yeah. It's calling it a property, but it's not a property. So in this case, I've got arrange, act, and assert all in one line. Okay? Hope that's clear enough, though. We're going to leave it messy. I'm going to leave it this way, and then I'm going to leave it this way, and then next week when we look at this code, I'll see which one still looks right to me. Okay. I like the one-liner. Today, I like the one-liner. The question is, what will it look like next week? Do I need those other words that I deleted or not? Third digit. Wait a minute. I'm doing third digit? And... why? Okay, now that's a little weird. I'm doing third digit because masker is mentioning third digit, but the other test is failing even though it only needs second digit. So it's not quite working the way I said it was, where by changing this one piece, it'll affect a change in the system. Let's get this one test passed, and let's back down and look at that, and then I've got to X out of the show sometime today. Oh, there we are. And now we expect to get one of these. We expect this to produce this. Okay. Yeah? Okay. Now, why didn't this test pass? Expected, blah, blah, blah. But was, keep getting longer. Okay. Because I'm still only using append, I think, is the problem in the main function. Let's take a look. SSN watcher, SSN... this one here. See, it's append. Onto, that's not a good way to spell onto. Onto's not that kind of word. Onto's not that kind of word. That. So I'm appending. And that's the problem. Okay. So we need logic in here. This is where, okay. This is the merge work. I didn't put this in the masker functionality because I didn't see it happening, but now I see it happening. So we need to compute the merge of the user input to the mask. And I would like the masker to do that as well. Am I going to do it tonight? I kind of want to because it's all in my head, and if I don't do it tonight, it'll be harder to do it next week. So append isn't the answer because after text change. So the user types something in. Actually, append is the answer. But I got to compute the mask. I did compute the mask. Okay. What's going on here? Append, is append the answer or not? Since I moved the pointer back to where the cursor, where it belongs, I should be able to just append the new mask as the user enters the input. Okay, so actually append should be the right way. So why isn't it working then? Save the append mask onto the end. All right, before text change, this is going to be like guarding, see if the cursor's in the right spot. And I don't use a cursor in my unit test. Oh, okay, that's true. Let's run this. I might be. Not run that. Let's run the app. I'm always got to check in to see if my test automation is imperfect from the simulator, and make sure I'm not chasing. How do I say this? There's a word for this. Chasing. I'm going to say chasing chickens, but that's not what I mean. All right. Okay, good. Not good. Okay, so it's working the same way as in my. Okay. Oh, is there any? Let me see if anybody's posted. No. I was trying to get Kent to send me a question into a panel we're trying to set up. But Kent has, the word is, what am I trying to say? Avoidance. Yes, he avoided it. He deflected it. That's the word I'm really looking for. I've been deflected. Okay. All right, why am I in this spot? Why am I not passing this? All right, my unit test is telling me something's wrong. My code, my application is telling me it's not working, and I really want to close. So we're going to try a little bit more, then we're going to close. I've learned a lot today, and I'm not going to remember it all. Let's see. In fact, I'm going to do what I learned right now. I'm going to pretend to close the show and trick myself, and then maybe I will come up with the answer before we close the show. Okay, so what did we learn today? Oh, yeah. What episode? This must be episode 45. Oh, boy. I learned that append for the I don't know what API that is, editable? Maybe it's editable? It's goofy. I'm declaring that. So when it goes append, string, start, end. So it's like, there's another string over here. There's like my editable. What this means is start and end are for string. Let's call this like a different thing, like thingy. And then there's editable. And then there's like starting position, like start, like position, I think it is. And thing, start, and end. Position is wherein editable to append. Oh, no, that's insert. I don't think append does that. Okay, so those are all good things. Now, my problem is, what else I learned? Did I learn anything else? Or can I go back to my bug that I'm trying to test drive out? I don't know. I think that's about it. I think I learned something about running to the... let's see. When I run the... I think I learned about this. I think when I run the... When tests don't compile, you can find out what the problem is by Okay, A, run the unit test. B, click on problems. Okay. That's actually pretty dang helpful, and I am so sorry that Android Studio just doesn't nail that. Don't know what's going on there. I don't think there's a third thing I learned here. I mean, add classes. Whoops, we don't need to do this in Chinese yet. Not doing the show in Chinese yet. 我还没准备好。正赛不用中文。Okay, add class to add classes like you're paid by the class, even if it hurts your brain. Because your brain is wrong. And if you're going to transcend your limitations, you can't trust your brain. Okay? This is probably the most important thing you'll ever hear on this show. All right? Oh, baby. So if you're still resisting doing things and you haven't bothered to learn by trying it out for a while, you're self-limiting. And there's no other ways to say about it. You have to suffer a little bit at least to learn. And if you're just like, oh, I'm going to avoid that, you are going to accept your limitations like that. That is, I should just close the show now. How am I going to top that? I don't know. All right, let me take one more look at this test, and then I really want to close the show on that note. Yeah, my unit test is failing. I could close the show on a failing unit test and then come back and solve the problem. Why not? Because I'm stubborn? Yeah, maybe. Okay, so these tests are passing. Very interesting. But this fella is not. So that means there's some integration problem here, because my code in the masker works, but how the masker is being used in the text, SSN text watcher is a problem. Now, what could be the problem? Compute mask. Well, I'm not keeping the mask. Am I not supposed to be keeping the mask? Oh, that's down here. All right, let's get rid of this middleman. Can I do that? Oh, maybe I'm not ready for that yet. I feel like I might come back in here and rebuild something. No, let's do it. Let's get rid of this middleman. Where is this inline function? Okay. So I'm going to get a new mask, and I'm going to overwrite the old mask. And that should be a thing. That should be done now. That is a mask. That is not a string. Maybe that's the problem. So if we go to here, safely append on the end, and we append mask, append, does that handle string buffers correctly? Probably. Come on. Tell me about yourself, append. Append. You can take a char sequence. probably does the right thing. 'Cause so far, it's kind of done the right thing. This is quite annoying. Actually, I have to use characters in this one. All right, I think I'm gonna take characters out of this one. Otherwise, like next week I'll look at it and go like, why did I do that? That's just dumb. Mask, keep mask. Let's get rid of this one. How do I delete a parameter? That's how I delete a parameter. Nice. All right. Now it's angry. Oh, because I have to do the bang bang. Bang bang. For it to come into this method after text, it has to have something in there. I don't know why. Maybe I can change something up here so I don't have to do that. Okay, so let's run all those tests again. Shouldn't have changed anything useful. Nope. One test failed. All right, my one test I failed. I wrote a lot of tests today and got them passing, but one test is failing. Wham. Okay, so append mask. So what I'm doing here, oh, this is interesting. All right, yeah, no, this makes sense now. What I'm doing here is I'm only appending. I'm not inserting. This is a problem. Okay, so this functionality needs to pay attention to the length of the mask, back up to the start of the mask, and then insert over the mask. It has to insert over the what's in that text box. It has to insert the mask from starting from the end and going to the other direction. Okay? All right, right. That's my problem. Thank you. Yeah, we got to figure it out. Insert starting at position. We have to figure that out too. It's going to be like characters. Yeah, it's going to be like characters length minus mask dot length, and then we're going to insert the mask. Okay. So starting at where the mask, and so we're not appending the mask on the end. We're backing up. We're taking, if you entered in 2 characters, 2 numbers, and then your mask is 1, 2, and then you have the mask X dash da 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 da. We're taking the length of the entire thing, and we're subtracting out the mask components, which should be back up to this, and then we're appending, we're inserting the mask over the top of it. Does that make sense? I'm in, what method am I in? I am doing this in after text changed. Okay, so the user typed a number, inserted it into the list, made the list, the string larger, because the string's growing, and now I have to fix the mask. And it happened so fast, the user can't even tell it happened. All right, so that is close. I don't think this is correct, but it could be close-ish. And then let's see what I got. Okay, let's see what we got. String out of bounds. Offset, all right, so why did it say that? Offset -8. All right, so how is this possible? So character is a certain length. And my mask is longer than my characters? Okay, so that's the problem. After user entered single digit. Okay, so in the single digit sense, this is in after text edge. So the length is 1. the mask is really big. Oh, okay, that's why that's going to be a negative number, so we got to flip that around. So the mask isn't always going to be bigger. Oh, you little dickens. What am I going to do with you? Offset is 8. That's not going to be correct either. All right, character length in this case is going to be 1, and the mask is going to be what? Initial mask, all those X's and dashes. And then it computed it because it computed it smaller, because that's what the compute does. So Social Security number is 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 10 total digits when you include the dashes. All right, and I don't know if I'm going to get this. If I'm awake enough to keep doing this. The problem is characters. Okay, so I have one character in there. Somebody typed 1. This is a single character add scenario. It says right there, and by my unit test that failed, right beneath me. And the length is really large, so clearly that's going to be a negative number. And that negative number is like an 8. It's got to be about the number of spaces from the end. Oh, that's how it's going to work. Okay. Okay, so how does that look? So 10 minus the mask and the user input, which means if it's 8, 9, 10, that'll give me 2, which is 1 off. So I probably got to subtract 1 on this. Okay. All right, let's try that. Okay, still didn't pass. Single digit didn't pass. Let's see what we got. We have an index at about 17. That's quite a bit difference there. Where is this coming from? Offset 17, length 1. So it should be 10. Characters, at least in the single digit sense. See, characters is going to be a problem. I can never base it on characters. It should always be based on mask length. Okay? It's always going to give me a mess. All right, so my mask length is going to be 10. My SSN field length is going to be 9. Apparently I got it. All right. And character insert. So I'm going to insert my mask starting at, in the single digit scenario, it's going to be 10 minus mask length of 10. Oh, no. I computed it to 9. 10 minus 9 is 1. And then we insert the mask starting at position 1 rather than position 0. That actually sounds right. Let's try that. One more passed. Oh, that's interesting. Now, all right, the first single digit one passed. Now, the 2-digit one did not pass. Still is making it long. Okay, now why is that? Let's think about it. So, SSN field length is 10. Mask length is now 9. No, it's going to compute it to be smaller, so it's going to be 8. So 10 minus 8 is 2. I think that should work. That was 1, 2. And it still is putting all this in. And then adding more. It's very strange. Very, very strange. Why is that happening? SSN field length is getting... I can't figure out why that would possibly happen. All right, kids, I think I'm going to call it. I'm just tired. I'm going to wait for white flag. All right, so we're on the right track. I don't have enough energy to figure out what the problem is right now. Yeah. So, yep, I'm tired. I'm going to call it. I'm going to X out. David, I'm calling Uncle David. Is that okay? David, I think he's snoring on the phone. I don't think he's... Are you there, David? Yeah, no, I think he had too many of those drinks. Though that would give you more of a headache. If you had, I mean, that would give you a cold ice cream headache. Okay, folks. Most profound thing that happened in the show. Add classes like you're paid by the class. And even if it hurts your brain, do it. Because your brain is wrong. And if you're going to transcend your limitations, if you're going to try something new, you literally can't trust your brain. You just have to do it. And wait and see what happens. You might have to do it for a while, too. You might have to soldier it for a while. Okay? That's it, folks.